Good morning, checkout day today. Travelling back to London, and there's a bloody train strike. You know, there's a train strike. I can travel back whenever I like, but my plane is booked, so there's not much I can do about it. There's a little quick tip I thought this morning about hotels, and I keep making these mistakes. I always like to book something a bit nicer than the basic room. And so I booked this one with a balcony today. I've been here 4 days, paid extra for the balcony, but this is the big crucial thing. If it's not truly south facing, and this one isn't, gets a bit of sun at a couple of odd times of the day when the sun comes through that gap. But I haven't used it at all, so it's a great tip with hotels, and we all know this. Bloody hell, I'm 66 and I know it. Just put almost standard rooms, because you don't stay in the hotel that much anyway. I get up, a shower, and I'll move on. The rooftop bit I only use once, but I can go up there even with a standard room. So anyway, maybe I'll just stay in Gatwick area today, depending on what. So sure, there's no trains at all, because if I can't get, I'm not going to struggle to get back. If I can't get back, it doesn't really matter. It just means a UK hotel, which is going to be a lot more money. It's a tough life, isn't it? Got my Bowie scarf on to travel home today, and definitely looks like I'll be staying Gatwick area because there's no trains. It says literally no trains today. Thank you. So I'm just sat in the sun having breakfast before I make my way to an airport. I've got a couple of hours, so I'm back on the seafront. Yeah, so listen, I'm back in that location. I'm not having that breakfast. I didn't enjoy that sausage last time, so I'm having like a toasted sandwich and chips for breakfast. This guy's quite funny. When I first saw him, I thought, bloody hell, he's quite tidy. But he's actually dancing with a dummy, basically. He's got her strapped to his feet and arms, and she's always smiling. She's always happy. So there it is. Looks alright. Ham and cheese toasty. Lots of carbs. Talking about my keto. Never be able to do it while you're on the road travelling, that's for sure. Alright, so sandwich is quite nice actually. I think it's a really bad mistake. Shops at cafes, restaurants that don't give you the Wi-Fi. He said, no, we don't have Wi-Fi. I said, oh, I have no cash to pay. He gets a bit confused. I said, I can pay with my card, yeah, on my Apple Pay. I showed him the phone. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you have internet, you just don't give your customers. You see how I don't let things go? I brought that up before, haven't I? Tourists like to have contact with their families, and maybe things important. I even had a phone call from my solicitor about the warehouse I sold today. So you have to keep in touch with people. Don't know what else to say really, but except cheers. I'm not looking forward to the travel. There's a half-hour journey to Alicante Airport. I can go on a bus, but that makes it... I could do that if I thought when I get to England it's all going to be plain sailing. But clearly it's... Apparently they're calling it Wednesday walkout day. Everybody's on strike. And it actually says there are no trains. Sometimes when that happens there's a little skeleton service. I get into Gatwick at about 5 o'clock, I think. So I'll either see if I can get back to Didcot on the train. It's only one train, 2 hours. If not, I'll have to stay in a hotel near Gatwick, and that won't be as cheap as out here, will it? No. Looks like I'll be stuck in Gatwick in a bloody hotel because the whole country's gone on strike today. Oh well, could be worse. I've missed all the January cold weather, haven't I, folks? How is my head? Nice and brown. See you all in London soon, maybe. So that's quite a fitting goodbye to Spain, isn't it? These two people are Santos Angel Costiolis. I don't know, but the flag looks good. Oh, police all over the place, must be something going on. Police wagon just gone down there, another one there. One month in Spain done, January. Wouldn't come January again, as I say, probably December, January, February are all too colder months for Spain mainland. Because if you're coming out here, you need to enjoy the night time as well. The night time's definitely not so enjoyable because it's cold, quite cold. Not English cold, but certainly need a coat. Okay, so pick my bags up and get a taxi and get off back to Blighty. It's 1:15 now. Just getting out of Alicante in time. Apparently there's tons of police. They're closing all the streets off in about an hour. There's some cyclists coming through. Tour de France, Tour de France, Tour de France. So I'd have had a job to get a taxi if I'd have left it any later without walking out the area, out the central area. That takes about half an hour to get to the airport. Let's go. There we are, taxi's off. I find it a bit sad that he's wearing a mask, and lots of people in public transport here, you still need to wear a mask. I have watched some of the news, but not national news, not BBC News or anything, about the amount of deaths. There's a higher rate of deaths going on now in the UK and in Europe, and maybe even worldwide. Fucking angle grinder man's back with me. Yeah, there's a higher rate of deaths going on, and they don't know what it's about, but of course BBC News and all that is not even publicising it. So let's get in here away from angle grinder man, shall we? So I certainly don't want any more vaccinations. I had 3, I've stuck to the rules, wore a mask when we had to. A lot of people were surprised just how much people did that, how much people complied. I don't think I'm going to comply again if they say you've got to go back to it or you've got to have a 4th jab. Just stay at home, stop travelling even, I don't know. But I'm a bit of a disbeliever now in the whole process of getting jabbed up like that. It's unhealthy for that guy, quite elderly, to have a flipping mask on, not allowing his mouth and lungs to breathe clear air. He's just breathing his own air back in. Don't know, I'm probably wrong. The other thing which I don't need to be flying home on bloody walkout Wednesday. I could have changed my flight. I did look at changing my flight. I looked at changing my flight to come home earlier. I looked at changing my flight to come home later. And like the cheapest flight I can get is about 160 quid. I get back on the 1st. I've got to be back on the 6th for my Uncle Chuck's funeral. So maybe if I didn't have that, then maybe I would just bite the bullet and keep going and nip over to Gran Canaria or something. But I just have no choice really. It's too expensive to change my flight. It's not justifiable. And I've got to be home in a few days anyway, so I've got to bite the bullet and get myself back on walkout bloody Wednesday. That'll be a vlog on its own, won't it? Bag checked in. I only have my one, my fake, Turkish fake Louis Vuitton, which I pulled all the lining out in Spain because it was so badly ripped. But it does carry my iPad, which is pretty good. And you know, get myself through security and up to the lounge, I guess. 2 hours before flight, so pretty perfect timing. Security done. I'm glad to say, even though a bit like the angle grinder man, Burger King's followed me everywhere, I've not had one. Surely that's some sort of achievement. And I won't be having one here. 3:15 Gatwick. Gate info in 40 minutes. Cool. It's not long. It's 1:15. Take off in 2 hours. Unfortunately, my daughter, not my sister, still smokes, so I take her back these. I pick them up in town, but I don't think there's much difference in price. £10 a pack, 5 packs, 50 quid, 47 euros. Destination inside Euro. Oh, it's cheaper outside, but oh, here we go. Brexit result. Outside the EU, 47, inside the EU, 57. So there's something that I don't use myself. It's cheaper because we're not in the EU anymore. It's another controversial thing I believed in. I was a leaver. I was not a Remainer, I'm sorry to say. Maybe it was my age, maybe it was just, I like the theory of making our own decisions, rightly or wrongly. And yeah, it's buggered me up a bit, 90 days in 180. It's alright, I'll go somewhere else and spend my money. I thought about treating myself to some Cartier, because I got Cartier watch and ring. And I was looking at watches. Generally I joined a Facebook group. But 4 of those don't work, and the Pasha one I've already got. So that one I wanted to try Santos, but the Scooter doesn't work. And then I looked in this 100 quid anyway and thought, you know what? Don't need it. Loads of aftershave at home. All different types. So I do use it daily. Brought one out here and I used it all up. Don't need alcohol because obviously I'm gonna stop drinking, aren't I, when I get home? Yeah, gonna cut back, that's for sure. Glasses, these were €5 in on the beach on them. There's boys that disappeared today. Havanas, Prada, but again, I bought myself a nice pair of Ray-Bans. Oh, there they are, Ray-Bans. I've got a nice pair, don't need any more. Killing a little bit of time really, showing you the duty free area. Everything's here, everything you can want. I couldn't be asked to carry the alcohol, never have. I don't, well, I might have occasionally brought some, but I don't really think I've ever brought any duty free. Oh, my friend Dave asked me to bring some out to Turkey, didn't he? That was an episode. I wouldn't bring more than I was allowed to, and then he told me off. Well, there you are. As much as I don't mind a duck and dive a bit, I've always been a bit too honest for my own good, I'm afraid. I don't know if I'm going to go to the lounge or not today, simply because the airport's so quiet. I can sit at a bar here. I've got the cheapest priority pass, which costs, I think now costs £60 yearly, and then every time you go in it's £20. Maybe I should go in there and eat, but for £20 I could probably eat something, one of the nicer places here, because as I say, it's very, very quiet. Nobody really much in the airport. I'll decide. And I'll show you a bit about Alicante Airport, because I think, didn't I fly back from Malaga when I went Tangarola? So this is Alicante Airport. It's got that meat. That, you know, that bloody tough and chewy, I found it. This stuff. Not for me. Didn't like it. Subway, Burger King at the top end. Still staring at me. Lots of shops. I think that looks like the lounge up there, maybe, or maybe an office. Well, I'm in no great rush. I'm not over hungry. Don't want to drink a lot. Have a feeling I might go in there for an hour though. Can make 20 quid work in an hour, definitely. Sunglass Hut. You're very quiet. I imagine in the summer it's a different story altogether. Nice little restaurant by the look of it over there. Lots of coffee places. So what else can I tell you? Well, I can tell you that I have to plan my next trip soon. It's just a bit too early to look and settle in the UK, but I'm going to spend a little bit of time visiting London, visiting friends, and bit family stuff. See my grandson, who's now 3, Dylan Byram. Yeah, he's 3. And plan the next trip really, so 10 days, 2 weeks, see my dad. It's a real dilemma with my dad. Should I keep travelling? Should I stay at home? But I've said this many times, he's old but not particularly ill. And he's been well cared for now. You'd hope so, wouldn't you, for £5 a month? That's when they talk about levelling up. That was another thing I listened to on the news as I go off down another tangent. How are they going to level up the country? Are they going to make the north of England as expensive as the south? Or are they going to make south of England as cheap as the north? Because that's what levelling up really means, making everything the same. Same opportunities, same wages. It can't happen, unfortunately. I think if the south went down 50% and the north went up 50%, you could kind of do that. But it's just not going to happen, is it? Nothing's going to change like that. So yeah, forgot where I was with my other story then. Oh yeah, my dad. So I could stay around maybe for the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and then I feel I'll definitely be too old to do some of the things I'm doing, as much travelling and as much walking as I'm doing. So it's a dilemma, but he always gives me permission to go. He always says, don't hang about, don't wait for me, have a good time. Life's short, he tells me that, even though he's 93. His life wasn't that short, was it? He had a great life, and he's still well. I'll speak to him on the webcam. So I think I have to keep going. I think this time of year, I've still got tons of Avios air miles. There's another thing. So I do think it's likely I'll go further afield, even though I said last time I'll stay in Europe because it's closer to get home if there's any issues. But it is cheaper in Asian countries, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, places like that. It's cheaper for me to be there than it is in Europe. Europe's cheaper than the UK, yeah, but it's not as cheap as Asia. And I got air mile flights I can fly. I've got at least 2 business class flights still left after saving Avios for over 10 years. So about £500 worth of taxes you pay. so I can get a return business class flight for 500 quid. And then the accommodation out there, you can live in a palace for 20, 30 quid a night. It's a bit of a no-brainer really, isn't it? Yeah, maybe I'll have a look at it. Why not? I'm sticking with my Avios and I've got 300,000 Avios, I think. The great thing, if you go to the lounge in your business class, it's a great thing flying anyway, of course. But they even let you know when your plane's boarding, so you don't have to be looking all the time, panicking. They come and let you know, tell you it's now time for you to board your plane. It's a great service, and I saved up all them years, more than 10 years, and I need to use them definitely. Imagine I drop down dead in a few weeks and I haven't bloody used them. But it's great, Scarlett will have them, but I assume they'll be transferable, but that's something else I need to look into. All these things are accessible and transferable. She's got most of my passwords, so I think she should be alright with it, but hell, I want to do it. So I'm pretty sure that's where I'll be going next, long haul. Stay tuned. So yeah, I did it for you subscribers really. You can get all your newspapers, learn about Walkout Wednesday. It's a nice lounge. It was definitely Malaga I went last time, wasn't it? Nice little kids area. Plenty of seats, plenty of charging points. I've got maybe 3/4 an hour. Maybe not 3/4 an hour. So just have a little glass of fizz. Why not? She told me to keep an eye on the boards because they're not making any announcements as well. So, ice creams, maxi buns, no donuts. So we have chickpeas with cherry and spinach, mustard chicken, salted asparagus. Doesn't look good to me. And that's one of my favourites. Look, the old omelettes. I might have a bit of omelette. And that'd be quite nice actually. Tropical crab salad, yeah. Soups, other salads, chicken soups. Who likes these things? Not me. And then you've got lots of rolls. See, I'm learning to slow down a bit. I'm very aware that maybe people are looking and going, what's he doing? Ham and cheese, spinach puff pastry, chicken puff pastry, drinks, salamis. You get to the important bits, you've got all your soft drinks. And then you got everything nicely chilled as well there, look. What I'm telling you is don't take any shots out with you. And you got a bit of fruit. So I think if you came in here, it's always probably worth it, even if you've only got an hour to spare. When the lounges are busy, mind, and you've only got an hour before the flight, they sometimes don't let you in because they prioritise the people who have to wait a lot longer, which again makes perfect sense. If you haven't got long to wait, you don't need to be in a lounge really, do you? Look how quiet it is. It goes on through there as well, I think. Oh no, just the way out and toilets. So I'm going to have a glass of fizz. I'm going to have that salad, that crab salad actually. Start my keto. I like crab salad with that Thousand Island on anyway. It's nice. There we are, how's that? It's probably nearly 20 quid's worth of value, isn't it? Crab salad, omelette and cava with orange juice. I used the wine glass because you could get more in it. And the priority pass thing with certain credit cards, you get it free. My Amex Platinum I used to have in the glory days, used to get it for free. And you can also just buy it from priority pass, and you can have an all-inclusive one if you're travelling all the time. You can, I don't know how much it is because it's changed recently, but it's a few hundred quid. Yeah, it's a few hundred quid, then you can travel all the time free, no charge. But because I wasn't travelling quite so much, I went for the cheapest option, which at the time I think was about £50. And then, cheers. Oh, pineapple, isn't it? I like pineapple. £50, and then you just pay £20 every time you use it. It's worth it. If the airport was really busy, you'd be stuck in all the hullabaloo outside. Sometimes airport lounges, and I'm going to bring it up again, sometimes airport lounges can be a bit like Benidorm in the peak season. So the lounge is always good. Cheers my friends, I'll be boarding soon. Heading into walkout Wednesday. Wish I could have done that when I was self-employed all my life. Oh well.